Hey guys, it's Michael from CultureShockCollectibles.com and welcome to a very special edition of Culture Shock News. Hasbro Pulse Con 2020 day number 1 is in the books, and what a massive day of announcements it was for Hasbro. For those of you who don't know what Hasbro Pulse Con is, it is basically a way for Hasbro to bring us all the latest details and goss and releases from across all their lines that they probably would have done at New York City Comic Con this year. Unfortunately, due to the current climate of the world, New York City Comic Con was cancelled, and that's where Hasbro PulseCon 2020 was born. So let's get on with it. On today's special, we're going to be talking the announcements from the Star Wars Black Series range. They talked about all different Star Wars aspects at the event, but we will be concentrating on the 6-inch Black Series range. So let's get straight into it, and we are kicking things off with everyone's favorite Gungan. I was about to say Gundam, the one and only Jar Binks. So there's been rumors for many years about when we're going to see a Jar Binks Black Series figure, and we are finally seeing that figure here at Hasbro Pulse Con 2020. The figure is going to be part of their Deluxe series. So much like a Black Series figure, just a sort of a larger box and comes with more accessories. And the artwork on this box is pretty awesome. I'm really digging the new Black Series artwork on the sides of the boxes. I have been collecting Black Series from the original sort of yellow stripe series figures, and the box art was very plain, but this is awesome. I love that sort of holographic metallic look on the sides of the boxes that they're doing now. So Jar Binks, what does he come with? What do you get? So he basically comes with a few accessories. He comes with a boomer, a spear, and an energy shield, and he is basically ready to take on any army that he needs to. Next reveal at Hasbro PulseCon was, of course, the Star Wars Black Series Deluxe Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi. Once again, much like Jar Binks, we're going to be seeing Boba Fett get the deluxe treatment. And of course, this figure features a whole new updated sculpt from top to bottom. The mold of this figure wasn't yet finished, so Hasbro have actually showed off a lot of digital renders of the figure only. The figure is jam-packed with accessories, some of which we haven't seen in the Star Wars Black Series line before, and others, of course, we have. This Black Series Boba Fett will come with a flamethrower attachment, rope, and 2 blasters, with one of them featuring the sliced off blaster at the front that we see sliced off by the lightsaber at the Sarlacc pit. Really cool figure. Apparently the articulation is going to be a little bit better than, let's say, the previous release with the orange stripe. We also saw the prototype version with the blue stripe packaging. And once again, this will feature that really awesome metallic sort of artwork on the side of the box. So really digging that, the green, the vibrance, and just the overall look of this figure is pretty awesome. So I can't wait to see the final product figure, product images, should I say, of this figure. It also does look, and I know these are rendered images, but it sort of does look like the cape to the side of his jetpack may be material. I know we've seen that like on the Princess Leia embossed outfit in the past, and we have seen some sort of material cloaks on Obi-Wan and a few other characters. Once again, I know they are only rendered images, but the flamethrower effect that comes with the figure does look pretty awesome as well. So some great ways that we can display this figure in the deluxe range, and looking forward to seeing the final product on that one. The next reveal for the Star Wars Black Series range is, of course, the Dark Rey figure from The Rise of Skywalker. This one's getting released on a standard Black Series box, and it features Rey from The Rise of Skywalker. The figure will be featuring Rey in the dark gowns and wielding that fold-out dual lightsaber that we see in that scene. It may not be super visible by the promo renders that we're seeing, because once again the sculpt wasn't completely finished, but it does look like the figure will also feature some soft goods capes, as Hasbro put it. which I interpret as a cloth cape. So fingers crossed that they do go with that. I hate the hard plastic capes that they do on some figures, so I think this figure would look awesome with those dark cloth gowns that Rey is wearing. Pretty cool figure. I know we don't really see much of Dark Rey in The Rise of Skywalker. It is one really quick, crappy scene, but it would be cool to see how this figure comes up in the end. I do really like that fold-out lightsaber. I think it looks really cool. So just another cool one to display, really, even though the character didn't play a huge part in the movie. A set that's going to be one of the most popular of Hasbro Pulse Con, of course, is the Black Series Mandalorian Armorer figure set. This awesome box set was going to be released as a convention exclusive at New York City Comic Con, but due to New York City Comic Con being cancelled, it's now going to be a Hasbro Pulse exclusive instead. We'll be getting this figure later on in the year as well in a standard Black Series box. Won't feature obviously some of the accessories, but we will still be getting the same figure. The figure features stunning special packaging, design, and some unique accessories. Unfortunately, this is going to be a really, really hard one for the Australian market to get their hands on, as it will only be exclusive to Hasbro Pulse Con. Now, I haven't tried myself, but if you do have a mail forwarder in the US, you may be able to use that to get your hands on this. I know it's going to be a tough one to get, but if you are a diehard Mandalorian fan and you do want to get your hands on this figure, it may be the only way to do so. The accessories that this figure comes with are a lot of the tools that we see the armorer use in that episode of The Mandalorian. Once again, really liking the sort of effect pieces that come with this figure. I know we see that in the deluxe range, but there is sort of, that glowing hammer that the armorer uses to sort of hit the Mandalorian helmet, and of course the sort of flame and spark effects that come off that. Of course, you get the pincers and the different style of hammers. And once again, it does look like that fur on the back of the armorer will be a real cloth sort of type of material. So that's awesome to see as well, that we're not going to get this heavy chunk of plastic just hanging on the back. But overall, it's a awesome figure, and if you do want to try your luck on Hasbro Pulse here in Australia, you definitely can, or just wait for the standard edition, which will be coming at the end of the year. Sticking on the Mandalorian train for now, we of course saw the Incinerator Trooper release as well at Hasbro Pulse Con, another awesome figure that we see in the final episodes of Season 1. And this figure, of course, comes with that massive flamethrower gun and pack, and also comes with a flame effect. So much like we see in the deluxe range, however, this will be just a standard release. You are getting some cool accessories with even the standard versions. So a really cool addition to the Black Series line. Another figure that was shown at Hasbro Pulse Con is the Phase 1 Clone Trooper. So just a very standard clone trooper that we see at the sort of the start of the Clone Wars. No sort of markings or anything like that. Just a clean skin clone trooper. The figure, of course, comes with a few different weapons, blasters and rifles, and looks pretty cool. So we move on from the Black Series range now and into the Star Wars Archive range. This is a really cool sort of figure range that Hasbro introduced a few years back. And as always with the Archive range, the fans actually unite together and vote for which figures they would like to see added to the Archive collection. The figures aren't new in any way. They have been featured in previous Black Series ranges and waves. However, they are getting the archive treatment and that archive packaging. It's probably a less collector friendly packaging for those that do like to break those Black Series figures out of their plastic prisons and display them. And of course, we all know that the Black Series figures are very easy to put back in the actual packaging, storage, or just keeping safe. So these figures are on a card, they are in a bubble. and by removing that, you would be ripping the card. They are a really great way for people who did miss out on other waves to get their hands on the figures. A lot of the times we see with some of the older Black Series figures that they get, heavily inflated on price in the aftermarket. So this is a great way just to add it to your collection if you did miss out. So for 2021, the fans were back at it again and voting for which figures they wanted to see in the archive range. So the most voted figures for the 2021 archive collection that fans voted for are, of course, Commander Cody from the Clone Wars. This was a hugely popular figure when it was released in its standard series, and the figure, of course, comes with blaster and rifle. Next up for the archive range, we saw the images of the Hoth, Luke Skywalker, and Han Solo figures. Both figures include their retrospective weapons, of course, with Luke's lightsaber and blaster, and Han with his binoculars and pistol. There have been some significant changes to the sculpting of a lot of the archive figures. You can sort of see in Han's jacket there that there's a lot more detail in it compared to, let's say, the first release, and same with the Luke Skywalker Hoth figure. And last but certainly not least, in the archive collection for 2021, we saw fans vote for a figure that comes back to us from Star Wars Rebels with one of the fan favorite villains, Admiral Thrawn. We saw some awesome spin off comics and other releases of this character. I think overall fans were generally interested in Admiral Thrawn and the character, so it's cool to see Thrawn getting the archive treatment. Also, of course, Rebel fans will be able to add this to their new remastered wave. We saw that great collection of Rebel figures released sort of a few months ago in that new packaging. So this is another great one to add to that collection. Each figure in the archive range has a new photoreal technology to give fans an updated model of each character, as well as new modifications of the sculpts. And of course, you can see that mainly in the Han Solo outfit, as I mentioned earlier. Also, they've been working on some articulation and a few other fixes from, let's say, their first releases in the waves that they corresponded to. Of course, Christmas came early at Hasbro Pulse Con, and to get the holiday season going, it's time to deck the halls with holiday troopers. Hasbro have jumped on the holiday bandwagon. Of course, we've seen companies like Funko do, their incarnations of different superheroes and characters just with a Christmas vibe to it. And I think Hasbro have seen how popular that has been amongst collectors. I personally like to rip out some, Funko Christmas pops at that time of the year and display them around the Christmas tree. So I'm sure these holiday troopers will look great. They all have themed outfits, and the figures will be available later this year. They are exclusive to specific US retailers. So there's no word just yet if we're going to see these released here in Australia, but stay tuned. We'll definitely bring you information as it comes to hand. Each figure also comes with a cute and cuddly little sidekick, but we'll get into each of those in just a second. Kick off the Holiday Trooper figures, we see the Sith Trooper with what seems to be a Nerf gun. The figure also features, of course, a Christmas scarf and a Babu Frick little minifigure. So these are the little sidekicks that I was talking about earlier. And Babu Frick is also decked out in his Christmas gear. This figure is going to be exclusive to Best Buy in the US. The next figure, of course, that we have in the Christmas Trooper range this year is going to be the Snow Trooper from Empire Strikes Back. And the Snow Trooper comes with a Porg as well. The Porg's got a scarf on because it's pretty cold there on Hoth. And of course, this figure is going to be a Walmart exclusive. Interesting sort of blade weapon that the Snow Trooper has. Looks like they're sort of mixed a whole bunch of different figures together when they're designed these. So interesting choice of weapon for a Snow Trooper. The next figure we see is just the regular Stormtrooper. The regular Stormtrooper, probably maybe my favorite in the range of troopers here. and it will be wearing an ugly Christmas sweater, and I think that's probably why it's my favorite. And that is an armored theme ugly Christmas sweater. The figure also comes with a little snowman porg. Doesn't he look cute? And this one is going to be an Amazon exclusive. Once again, coming with that sort of blade that looks like something, I don't know, maybe one of the Imperial Guards or something like that may have. Interesting choice of weapons as well in this range. And of course, the next figure that we'll be seeing in the Trooper range will be the Range Trooper. And the Range Trooper doesn't actually come with a cute and cuddly little sidekick. It comes with a D0 droid that has some Rudolph antlers. This figure doesn't actually come with a weird blade or anything, but does come with that sort of baton or clear ice baton, I'll call it. So another interesting choice. And finally, GameStop in the US will be getting the Clone Trooper. The Clone Trooper is also wearing a very ugly Christmas sweater and comes with a sort of candy cane hockey stick looking weapon. The Clone Trooper will also feature a holiday porg with a scarf on. So an interesting range there, probably not something that we thought we were going to see at Hasbro Pulse Con, but definitely will be cool to pull out at Christmas time and display around the Christmas tree. Finally, in the Hasbro Pulse Con Star Wars Black Series announcement list, we saw the release of the Ahsoka Tano ForceFX Elite lightsaber. These ForceFX lightsabers are pretty amazing. If you haven't actually seen one or held one, do yourself a favor and check one out. The ForceFX lightsaber is, of course, featuring the full metal hilt. It comes with 3 color changing blades that can also be removed. It has advanced lights and sound effects, removable kyber crystal, which is pretty cool, that lights up as well. It has a barrel plug and, of course, a stand to display the lightsaber. This is, of course, Ahsoka's Padawan lightsaber, so it is the smaller version. It has buttons on the hilt to activate the sound effects, and you can, of course, change your blade color as well. So these ForceFX lightsaber sort of combine advanced LEDs and movements and stuff like that to bring you the sound effects and the lighting from the movies. The ForceFX lightsaber is, of course, the most realistic style of lightsaber that's on the market by Hasbro. Cool thing about these ForceFX lightsabers is that you can display them with or without the blades on, just to give them that more realistic look when, let's say, the blade is actually off. So these ForceFX lightsabers you will be able to get in Australia. They are usually sort of over that $250 mark, but sometimes a little bit less. This one being a bit smaller, it may be less, but we'll just have to wait and see. If you like what we've been talking about here on the Hasbro Pulse Con Star Wars Black Series special, be sure to jump on cultureshockcollectibles.com. We have all the actual Black Series figures, the deluxe figures, and the standard figures currently up for pre-order. We, of course, don't have the Armorer set that is exclusive to Hasbro Pulse Con, but we do have the other figures up for pre-order right now. We are looking forward to day 2 of Hasbro Pulse Con, and we'll definitely be bringing you some more awesome info and figures in coming days. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and visit cultureshockcollectibles.com for all your nerdy needs. And until next time, we'll see you in that virtual toy aisle.